Hello there, channel members, friends, and followers from around the world. This is Kuwait Pilot, your host for tonight's show. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're flying the Felis Boeing 747-200 Classic, one of the most advanced aircraft available today for X-Plane 12. This is a study level aircraft in the beautiful legacy Kuwait Airways livery, in specifically Al-Mubarakiyah livery today that we're going to be flying. There is a lot of history with the Boeing 747s classics with the Kuwait Airways fleet, and today we're going to be flying a real-world route for Kuwait Airways from Abu Dhabi to Kuwait International, observing the Liberation Day, the 32nd anniversary of the liberation of Kuwait. If you'd like more information about the liberation, the independence of Kuwait, and the liberation, and what has happened on Thursday, August the 2nd, 1990, please check out my stream from yesterday when we flew the Phoenix A320 from Doha to Kuwait. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be flying VOR to VOR, and so we're really going to fly the old style. We're not going to be using any FMS. We're not going to be using the INS for that matter. We are going to be using only radio navigation. So it does make sense that I show you the flight plan today that we're going to be flying. So let me bring up Navigraph here real quick. I've plotted this route using SkyVector, which I believe is still an excellent tool for VFR programming, but also for VOR to VOR. And as you can see, we are right here. This is Abu Dhabi Airport, where we are going to be departing today. We can bring up the there. That's us right there. We are currently in close proximity to runway 13 right, where our departure will take place today. And then, of course, we are going to be making a left turn immediately after departure, and we're going to track the Doha VOR, this one here, the Delta Oscar Hotel. And then from Doha, we are going to be tracking the Dammam VOR in Saudi Arabia. And then from Saudi Arabia, we are going to be tracking Ras Al Mash'ab, which is still in Saudi airspace, closer to the southern part of Kuwait. And then we're going to be tracking finally the Kuwa VOR, or the Kilo Uniform Alpha, for Kuwait. Now, once we arrive into Kuwait, we are going to be performing this is the Kuwa approach. So we're not going to be performing the DME arc today. We are going to be performing the Kuwa approach for the ILS runway 15 left, which is shown here. 15 left still is the favorable runway for arrivals into Kuwait. We are going to be cruising at approximately 30,000 feet today, and we might use time compression because I am very aware that the Felis is an aircraft that requires a lot of time to get it started. But before we begin, I would like to welcome all of you guys to this live stream. I do realize there's a lot of people in the chat, so please do forgive me if I miss saying hello to you today. And as a quick reminder, there is a giveaway currently going on at this moment for 3 copies of the Felis 747, courtesy of the Kuwait Pilot channel. All right, I'm not sure why I closed Navigraph, but let's bring it back. All right, so yeah, we can put Navigraph away. And the Felis has received several updates over the past few days, and some fixes have been addressed. But I did actually crash the sim today. Once I have arrived into Kuwait, I've done a test flight this morning. It's very easy to forget how to operate this aircraft. It's quite complex and requires quite a bit of a workload. So I did crash. Hopefully we won't crash today, and hopefully we'll have a nice flight. I'll try to make it as informative as possible during the live stream today. Steve, 1927, I know Rand, you are there. Rand, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome aboard. Ein, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. SG Gifts Work. Good luck to all of you guys on the giveaway. I wish you all the best. And let's hop into the cockpit and start programming the aircraft, powering it up. And as you can see, Felis has done a really, really good job with the texturing of this aircraft. It really does look very, very nice. It looks very authentic. The texture work is really of the highest order on this aircraft to give it a very, kind of rusty look. I do like it a lot. I think it's one of the best aircraft available today for flight simulation in general, and specifically for X-Plane 12. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to head over to the iPad, which is located at different locations in this aircraft. But first, we're going to come here and turn on the battery. Battery switch is turned on, and we're going to come down here, and we're going to go to the ground, and we're going to set the chocks on. And connect the GPU.
Ground. Connect ground power.
All right, perfect. Now, Felis, I had an issue with the aircraft, so I reached out to Felis, and he told me not to use the write from the sim or get from the sim. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the load sheet today. So we're going to go to the load calculator here, and we're just going to kind of say 75% of the passengers cargo preset is 50%, and for the distance is about 450. I'm going to say 550 nautical miles. Desired altitude is 30,000, and now we have everything here, so we can just simply say instant load, and that will load the aircraft with all the information. If we look here, it doesn't look like anything has been loaded yet. All right, so I'm not sure why it's not loading, but we can always come to refuel and say use the load sheet. So the fuel on board is 22,760, and I don't see anything in the fuel tanks yet. We need to turn them on. Okay, so we'll leave it there, and we're going to go to the payload, and we're going to also say use the load sheet. People to board 297, cargo to load, all that good stuff, and we'll use instant board and load. Okay, perfect. So we are done with loading the aircraft with the passengers and cargo, and now we can start turning on the power and prepping the aircraft. The engineer station, by the way, can look very intimidating, but actually once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty simple. So let's go ahead and turn on the external power. We're going to go to the external power here, as you can see, and we're going to turn both the external power 1 and 2 switches on. Nothing we need to do with this. We're going to go ahead and test the squib test and the fire test for the APU. APU fire detection test, everything checks okay. We are now connected to external power, and we're going to make sure the standby power is normal, and now we'll be able to see the amount of fuel in our fuel tanks. All right, perfect. We're going to go up here, and the passenger oxygen is on normal, and the galley power is turned on. Gen mode is on override. The galley power is on, actually we can leave it on auto. The upper deck chillers are all turned on. The buses we can leave alone. And we're going to come here and turn on the trim air is open, and the humidifier is turned on as well. We're going to come to the tests here. So the squib test again, we can turn for the right bottle and the left bottle, just in case in the unfortunate case there might be a fire. We need to make sure that everything is in tip-top shape. And we also check the fire test, full test, and the B fire test and full test. And the fire test, everything checks good. Excellent. We're going to move over to the equipment cooling and test that as well. Smoke, tests okay, and the blower selector is test and reset. The control valve is on normal. Everything is looking good. Let's check the aft cargo heat. All right, open container, container on bulk. So everything checks good here. We're going to switch this to normal. And now we can test the wing LE overheat. So test system 1 and system 2, and everything checks perfect. Excellent. We can read and reset the APU generators. Everything here looks, we haven't started them yet, so we don't have to really worry about them at this point. And next, we're going to move down to the flight data recorder. It is not recording, of course, as of yet, as if the aircraft engines are still not on, so nothing is, we can still, once this illuminates in blue, it means that recording in progress. All right, let's do the anti-skid test. Checks okay, excellent. Potable water is sufficient and full, and we are good here. We're going to open the jettison, fuel jettison, and make sure all the valves are in the off position or the closed position, which they are. Excellent. And then we're going to come here and let's see, we don't need any of the fuel heat. We don't need any of that information. We do need this information here. So the barrow right now. Now, one of the things is once the ICO code has changed recently for Kuwait International, it causes a lot of issues. But at least we can get the weather information. So from the METAR, it's 3006. So we're going to go ahead and set that to 3006, which is right about here. This is 10, so this is 6. And the altitude is going to be 30,000 feet, so we'll leave it at about 31,000. 31,000. Right about here is good. The mode selector is on auto, and we'll leave the rate alone for the time being. All right. So we are pretty much now ready with the engineer station. Let's head over to the overhead panel and configure the overhead panel. We're going to start from right to left and bottom, top to bottom. We're not going to be needing the INSs, by the way, today, so we actually don't need to align the aircraft. Stefan, hello, my friend. Howdy, howdy. How are you doing, my friend? I'm doing excellent. Angelic Guru, welcome aboard. Unfortunately, the real weather is broken since yesterday. Is it really? I've downloaded it sounded to me like it's spot on earlier this morning. So the yaw dampers are okay. Auto brake is in the off position. Anti-skid is on. Body steering is armed. We're going to set this to a line. We'll leave it. It doesn't really matter whether we align or not today because we are not going to be using the INSs, so it doesn't really matter. Emergency lights are armed.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. On behalf of the entire crew, welcome aboard the Boeing 747 Classic. We will depart shortly after we have our clearance and the cabin crew is finished with their preparations. For now, I wish you a pleasant flight, and I will be back during the flight with further flight information.
Boeing Corp Mike, welcome aboard from Logan, New Jersey. How are you doing? Thank you very much, my friend. All right. So the captain announcement to the passengers is complete. We're going to turn on the non-smoking and fasten seatbelt signs, and we are going to lock the cockpit door. Next, we can come here and check the... we don't need any of that. Everything here looks good. Everything here looks good. We're going to turn on the radio master buses on, and we're going to perform the stall warning test and the Mach warning test. Over rotation test. Excellent. Ground test. Checks okay. And we're going to check the probe heat test as well. And they check fine. We're going to turn on the window heat. Excellent. We're going to test the lights. All the lights look pretty okay to me. And we're going to turn on the nav lights. And we are pretty much good here. Excellent. All right. So now we can perform the rest of the test. There are quite a bit of tests here that we need to perform. The first one here, so we're going to test the instruments, make sure everything is okay here. We're going to test all the instruments here. All right, that checks all right, perfect. And let's see here. Everything good here, everything good here. Excellent. All right, the reserve brake hydraulic system, source, low pressure, yep, that's correct. And we're going to check the instruments here as well. And that checks okay. We'll cancel the master caution. The maximum in reset button, altitude alert test is tested. Ground proximity warning test. Rudder ratio test. And all the tests here check okay. Perfect. Everything here looks good. Everything here, let's cancel the master caution. And perfect. All right, so all the tests are checking okay so far. We're going to come here to the central pedestal area, and we're going to make sure we test our transponder. So let's go ahead and test that.
TCAS system test okay.
All right, it's just a TCAS system okay, and the auto throttle mode is going to be EPR until we depart. And the EPR mode is going to, I believe, set to go around. And we're going to make sure the weather system is set on standby. And we are now pretty much ready to do the before start checklist or the cockpit preparation. But first, what we're going to do, folks, we're going to key in. So this is how we're going to do it. The VHF navigation is through this radio here. And we're going to enter the first VOR station here and the second VOR station here, and we're going to change those alternately until we arrive into our destination. Of course, the last frequency would be the ILS frequency here for runway 15 left at Kuwait International. Yeah, we are in the 747 at Abu Dhabi. I'm glad that you're happy. I hope you stayed that way, my friend. I'm happy for you. All right. So everything is set. We're going to come now to the checklists. And we're going to start with the before start checklist and start.
Before start checklist, please.
Gear lever and lights.
Down and check.
Brakes.
Parked.
Start levers.
Off.
Radios.
On and check.
Flight control hydraulic power.
On.
INS.
That's okay.
Compasses.
Slaved.
Window heat.
On.
Seatbelts and no smoking.
On.
Emergency lights.
Armed.
Exterior lights.
Check.
Flight instruments.
Check.
Altimeters and clocks.
1019. Set and cross check.
Radio INS switches.
Radio.
Radar and transponder.
Standby.
Indicator lights.
Check.
Engine and wing anti-ice.
Off.
Stall warning.
Check.
Mach airspeed warning.
Now, it's going to take a little bit of
Check.
time to complete
Auto
the
brakes.
checklist.
Check and off.
Body gear steering.
Arm.
Anti-skid.
On.
Autopilot and flight director.
Check and off.
Takeoff warning.
Check.
Auto flight enunciators.
Check.
GPWS.
Check.
Instrument warning.
Check.
Flight director computer selectors.
Check.
Instrument source selectors.
Normal.
Reserve brake valve.
Closed.
Spoilers.
Down.
Static selectors.
Normal.
Oxygen mask and regulator.
Good morning, Portugal 669.
Check and emergency off.
Good morning, sir. Which SAE may we
Brake
expect
pressure.
Portugal 669er.
Check.
Anticipate on
Stabilizer trim.
Check and on.
Rudder and aileron trim.
Left Volco 2 Sierra.
Check.
Checklist completed.
Volco 2 Sierra.
All right, perfect. So we have now completed the before start, and I prefer these flights. Hey, Carl, how are you doing, my friend? Carl is in the house. Welcome, my friend. Thank you very much for your support, Carl. All right, so we have this set. Now we're going to go back to the engineer station. Nothing we need here. Nothing we need on the first officer's side. And now we're going to start the APU. All right, so first we're going to come here to start the APU. We already completed the test, so we're going to put this on the on position and then hold it on the start until the EGT starts rising. And as you can see now, RPM and EGT are both rising. Excellent. All right, and we'll wait for the 100% RPM. And now the APU is available. So we're going to turn on the bleed air. And we no longer now need the external power. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the auxiliary power. All right, auxiliary power is now taken over. And we can come down here and turn on the bleed air switches. We don't need the weather is quite nice today. We're going to open the supply vent fans and the Gasper fans on, and we're going to turn on the recirculating fans as well. And now everything here is in good shape. All right, now before we start our engines, what we're going to do is we are going to go to the VOR stations. And we're going to take a note of the first one here, which is the Doha VOR. And the frequency is 114.4, which is already set here, 114.4. And the next one is the Dammam VOR, or Delta Mike Mike. All right, Delta Mike Mike.
Anticipate runway 18 left, runway 18 left.
No, hang on a second. All right, so that's Doha, and that is the Dammam VOR, Kilo Foxtrot Alpha. Okay, and that frequency is 112.3. So we're going to dial in 112.3, which it already is. So we have both the VOR stations here, and we are now good. So we can grab the altimeter for Kuwait, 3006. All right, 3006. Right, 3006 is set and cross-checked on the first officer side as well, 3006. And we are now good to start the engines. All right, let's come here to the quick rundown battery APU. Let's go ahead and start the start.
Battery on. APU panel. Check. Auxiliary power. Check. Engine oil quantity. Check. Fuel quantity. 2,742 kilograms. Fuel panel. This.
It's checked.
Pressurization controls. Check and set. Bleed controls. Check and set. Hydraulic quantity. Check. EPR computer. Go around. Circuit breakers. Check. Indicator light. Check. Electrical panel. Check and set. Air conditioning controls. Check and set. Fire control and wing overheat panels. Check and set. Equipment cooling. Check. Passenger oxygen. Check. Hydraulic panel. Check and set. Fuel jettison panel. Check. Crew oxygen. On. Oxygen mask and regulator. Check and emergency off. ADPs off. Checklist completed.
Excellent. So now we are ready to start our engines, and let's go ahead and plan our pushback from our current position. The current altitude is set to 30,000 feet, which is the final cruise altitude for our flight. And we can now go ahead and get the better pushback. So let's go to plugins, better pushback, start push.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
All right.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Now, the pushback, better pushback hasn't really been acting very good lately, but that's okay. Hopefully it works. German, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. You're not late. You're just in for the departure out of Abu Dhabi. We're just pushing back, so you're right in time. You probably missed all the cockpit preparation, which is quite lengthy on this aircraft. Takes quite a bit of time to, get it started. Let's look here. Everything here. Beacon lights are on. All right, locking the gear. Look at it. Look at this beautiful aircraft, guys. Yeah. All right, I thought we removed the.
All right. Looks like the doors and hatches are closed, and we're ready to connect.
Cockpit to ground. Disconnect ground power.
All right. Now we'll get it disconnected. No worries. And we'll have the chocks removed. And the chocks are removed. And now the GPU will be removed as well. Excellent. Just what a majestic looking aircraft. I absolutely love it. All right. Flight time. The flight time is about 1 hour and 20 minutes or so, but we're going to use a little bit of time compression today because I'm aware of the time, and I don't want to keep you guys way too long. So we'll use some compression there to reduce the flight time.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Tow's connected. Bypass pins inserted. Go ahead and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
All right, parking brake is off.
Brake release.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
All right, and we have clearance to start our engines, so we're going to come here to the start valve and
Ready
turn
to
it
start
on.
the engine.
All right, and we start with engine number
Ready
4.
for engine start. Starting engine 4. Start valve open.
All right, now the start valve is open, and we can monitor the engine for N2 here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see, and at 20% of N2, we will introduce fuel. All right. Oh, it's doing its thing. Better pushback.
20% and 2.
All right, let's introduce fuel.
Fuel on. Light up.
Yeah, it's doing all sorts of strange things. Better pushback. So I'm just going to say better pushback, stop the push. We'll just make the turn. This is the runway here.
Just
so.
about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
All right.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
All right. We're just waiting for the engine to stabilize. Right, this is engine number 4. It looks like the engine is now stable. So let's go ahead and start engine number 2. So we're going to go to the ignition panel again and start the engine number 3.
Starting engine 3.
Start valve open.
All right, and of course it's the same procedure for all 4 engines. So we have to, I would prefer no time compression. That's fine, guys. That's okay. If you don't want to, that's perfectly okay with me. All right, so now we are increasing the, N2 is rising for engine number 3.
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
20% and 2.
And here we go, fuel for engine number 3.
Fuel on. Light up.
Excellent, you can see the EGT rising, N1 is rising.
Starter off.
And we wait for the engine to stabilize before we start engines number 2 and 1.
That's correct. If we're looking to DI, when we're ready, what
Engine stabilized.
All right, engine is stable. Let's go ahead and start engine number 2.
Starting engine 2.
Start valve open.
Excellent.
Cabin crew, arm slides.
All doors are closed and armed.
Look at the needle here, the cockpit voice recorder. You can see the needle moving.
20% and 2.
All right, and fuel is coming up for
Fuel
engine number
on.
2.
Lights up.
Excellent.
Starter off.
And again, we wait for the engine to stabilize before we start the engine number 1. In the meantime, we can come here to the...
Engine stabilized.
all right, let's come to performance. All right, let's start the engine number 2. Beg your pardon, engine number 1.
Starting engine 1.
Starter valve open.
All right, and we're going to come here and set our bugs. Let's see here, V1, V rotate at 133. Ah, we're flying pretty light. Right, we set the speed bugs here, and there is the pitch trim, or the stab trim, 3 units. Initial pitch 17 degrees. We'll set those in a minute. Let's just wait for the engine. Here, if we look here.
20% and 2.
All right, 20% and 2, and fuel is coming
Fuel
up
on.
for engine number
Lights
1.
up.
Excellent. All right, we have all the engines now starting, and
Starter off.
perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the trim is in the, let's see here, in the green band. So I'm just,
Engine stabilized.
3 is out of the green band, so we'll just leave it here at 4. And we're going to set flaps 10 for departure. So we're going to come here and set flaps 10. Right, flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
Okay, perfect. And we're just waiting for the last engine to stabilize. Looks like all engines are now stable. Perfect. And we can now turn off the start valve. All right, perfect. And now we no longer need the APU bleed. So we can come here and put everything on the gens. And now we can close the auxiliary power. All right, let's set those again. All right, here we go. And we can turn off the APU bleed and stop the APU. All right, excellent. Everything here is good. We're going to turn the packs on. You can hear the beautiful sound of the air conditioning system now once we turn on the packs. And we're going to also come here to the hydraulic system. And we're going to turn this on to the auto position. The fuel boost pumps can go on. Nothing in the center tank, so we'll leave that one off. And those, we're going to watch our fuel here, and if we need so, we have some in the reserve, about 1,700 kilos in both of the reserve tanks, just in case we need them. But so far, we are good. I think it might be sufficient, but if not, we still have a little bit of reserve. We're going to press here to test everything, and everything checks okay. All right. We are good. Now, one more thing we need to do is we need to set the pitch trim, the initial pitch of 17 degrees. To do this, we're going to come here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. And what we're going to do is once we turn on the flight director, you're going to see the display here, and we're going to set the pitch to 17 degrees. Right, that's 5, 10, and that's about 17 right there. Okay, perfect. So the flight director is set, our altitude is set, the initial heading, by the way, we'll set the initial heading is about 130 degrees, which is runway heading. All right, 130 degrees. There we go. That is now set. Right, that's our runway heading. And we are now good to go, folks. All right, let's do the before taxi checklist. But before we do that, we need to do the flight control check. Full up, full down, full left, full right, pedal, full left, full right, and neutral. Excellent. Let's go to the checklist, and we're going to go to the after start checklist.
After start checklist.
Flight recorder.
On.
Start switches.
Off.
Beacon lights.
On.
Brake pressure.
Check.
Start limit.
Kivan, how is this plane high fidelity and worth the money? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Electrical panel. Let's see. Pack valves. Open. Dual warning lights. Out. Hydraulic panel. Check. Flight recorder. On. After start checklist completed.
Excellent. Now we're going to go to the taxi checklist. EPER needs to be set now to, I believe, TOD. All right. And let's see here. What else is there? Fuel heat is off. APU is off. Totalizer and gross weight is done. The panel, after cargo heat, everything. All right, good. Let's go ahead and start.
Taxi checklist, please.
Flaps. Flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
Takeoff data. EPR and the airspeed bugs.
Set and cross check.
Stabilizer trim.
All right, it's complaining about the stabilizer trim.
Set in green band.
Probe heat.
On.
Flight control.
Check.
Yaw dampers.
Check.
Seat belt and shoulder harness.
Check.
APU. Off. Fuel heat. Off. Totalizer and gross weight. Set.
Thank you very much, Rashid Yassin. I appreciate it, my friend.
Check.
Thank you very much.
Cargo heat.
Stefan, hello, my friend. Welcome
Seat belt
aboard.
and shoulder harness. Check. Taxi checklist completed.
All right, the taxi checklist is complete, and the next the next one is going to be the takeoff before takeoff checklist. And we are now, ladies and gentlemen, ready to go. We are going to turn on the runway turn-off lights, and we are all right. We're good here. We're going to release the parking brake.
Parking brake release.
And as you can see, there are no warning lights, so everything is in order. Let's go ahead and give it some power and head over to the runway for departure.
Stabilized.
Takes a little, first time, it takes a little bit of power to get the aircraft moving. Ladies and gentlemen, the Boeing 747 Classic by Felis. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. All right. Here is the hold short point for runway 13 right ahead of us. So we're going to make a short stop here, configure the aircraft for departure. All right, let's set the parking brake once more. All right, excellent. So first thing is body steering needs to be disarmed for takeoff. Landing lights are on, strobe lights are on, and flight, the engine ignition switches to flight start. Excellent, and let's go ahead and...
Cabin crew, take your seats.
All right, cabin crew take their seats for takeoff, and we need to turn off the bleeds for takeoff. And everything else is pretty good. Excellent. Let's do the before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist.
Icing considerations.
Check.
Cabin alert.
Check.
Transponder.
Check.
Ignition.
Flight start.
Body gear steering.
Disarm.
Pack valve. Closed. Pressurization mode selector. Auto.
It has been. Stan, hello, my friend. Welcome
Cross feed
aboard.
valves. Check.
It has been it's been getting warmer in Kuwait as well, Rashid, and yeah, it has been getting in the upper 20s now. So this is the sign that things are warming up. Remember to get your best headphones on the takeoff, folks. Listen to those. Yeah. All right, we are ready to go. Parking brake is released, and let's go. Off we go. Takes a little bit of time to get the aircraft rolling. It's a huge aircraft. All right, here we go. Runway 13 right is ahead. Beautiful rendition of Abu Dhabi airport by Thai Models. Highly recommended airport, guys. This is Payware. And here is the 74 Classic right here, making its way to the runway. Right, let's get it lined up. We are cleared for takeoff, runway 13 right.
Cross set.
Check.
V1.
Rotate.
Rotate. Positive rate.
Gears going up.
Gear up.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, now we cleared the runway, so we're going to begin our turn to intercept the VOR station. The first VOR station, that is. Right, we're going to set the climb. This goes to climb. Start retracting the flaps. Flaps up.
Flaps up.
And just so that you guys know what I'm doing, if we look here at our departure, so that's us right there. So I'm turning towards the VOR station. All right, now we can see the display here, the DME at 174 miles to the first station. And we are going to need to remove the yoke in a minute here. But I'll worry about that in just a second. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let the aircraft accelerate a little bit. And now we can, let's see here. Let me bring it down here. All right. We're going to start Command A. And we're going to go to VOR. Come on. VOR. And as you can see now, nav, so we have now intercepted the radio frequency for the VOR station. And what we need to do, I'm going to move a little bit here so you guys, you can see that we are on the path to the station. You can see that the distance is decreasing, giving us an indication that things are going as they should. And I'm going to reduce the rate of climb. I'm going to switch this to vertical speed, and I'm going to reduce our rate of climb a little bit. That's a little too high. So we'll go there. Right, 2,000. I think 2,000 is good. All right. And we continue the climb. You know what? Let's go to IAS. Speed, Alt select. And we are approaching 10,000 feet. And the aircraft now will manage the rate of climb.
10,000.
10,000 feet, and we can turn off the landing lights, runway turn off lights, and the wing lights are already off. What is?
Cabin ready.
All right. We're going to come to the engineer station here real quick, and we're going to turn on the packs. All right, packs are on, and we're going to turn on the fuel heat. Fuel heat is on. Excellent. And by the way, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. You can see now the red light indicating that the data recorder is recording the data. All right, next checklist and after takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist.
Gear lever.
Gear lever, it needs to be in the off position.
Off. Landing and logo lights. Off. Ignition.
Check.
Seatbelts and no smoking sign. Check. Back valves. Open. Fuel heat. Auto. After takeoff checklist completed.
All right, so the after takeoff checklist is complete, and we continue our climb, ladies and gentlemen, to 30,000 feet now. Here is a look at, let's see here. Look at that, guys. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous aircraft. All right, we're going to continue our climb on the IAS. That will maintain our rate of climb. It will maintain our speed. And everything here is looking in tip-top shape. We're going to go ahead and release the passengers and cabin crew. There we go.
However, we recommend keep your seatbelts fastened. Well,
Again, you've got the passenger announcements there. And as a reminder, guys, the giveaway is still going for 3 copies of the Felis 7.4. And if you ask me about this aircraft, I recommend this aircraft with confidence. It is absolutely amazing. It is high fidelity, study level aircraft, very complex aircraft, and it really gives you a lot of appreciation for how aircraft used to be operated back in the day. There was a real-world 747, of course, retired pilot. He flew the classic. He flew the 200 variant, and he tells me that this aircraft is a joy. He was very pleased to see this aircraft in this sim, and he says that the level of detail is insane. He also says that it flies very well, so it's got a feel. There are a few things he pointed out but overall he's very pleased with it. We are 144 nautical miles from the first VOR station, and all is looking good. And once we get, by the way, closer to the first VOR, we'll be able to see the DME for the second station, which is at 112.3. And then, of course, it would be the third and the fourth. So if we bring up our, let's see here, if we go to the flight log here. All right, so from the flight log, you can see we have the, so can you make this bigger? No, it doesn't. So this is the first VOR station, 114.4. The Dammam VOR is 112.3. Top of descent is right before we arrive at the Ras Al Mshab, and then Kuwait VOR is about 78 nautical miles from this VOR station. And then, of course, it's the new ICO is really getting me all worked up. You know, Oscar Kilo Kilo Kilo. Yeah, I'm not sure why they've changed it, but yeah, it has changed effective, I think, since the last ARAC database update. This was updated. All right, so we're looking good. Everything is set, and we continue our climb to 30,000 feet. What's Sim? Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Good luck to you. What's OKK? No, Rashid, they've changed the ICO code for Kuwait from OKBK to OKKK. This was done recently. X-Plane 12 was updated yesterday. Any comments about it so far? Well, I will tell you that the clouds look a lot better, and they have this thing called, what do you call it? Zinc or something like that. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I've read about it. It's a plugin that sort of, you know, sorts things out and reduces the overhead on the graphics card and all that stuff. Quite frankly, I turned it on and the sim started crashing, so I turned it back off. So yeah. The clouds and all look better. XP12 looks better now. It does look a lot better, Brandon. Yeah, without a doubt. Laminar is definitely on the right path. Things are definitely looking very good. And by the way, we need to set the barrel reference to standard, which is 29902. 29902 is now set and cross-checked. Excellent. We can start the clock as well. We haven't started the clock. There are so many things in this aircraft that makes the workload huge. Everything, by the way, can be tested properly, and there are a few things, by the way, I did not test properly, just for you to know. The brake pressure, I have not done the test correctly, but if you want to do it, you can always refer to the manual. But this is probably, I've given you probably 80% of what is there in this aircraft, and there is of course the INS, and there is another device similar to the INS, which is called here, let me show you, I forget the name of it, but if you go to the options, it's called the LTN92 device. Now I have no idea how that device operates, so we're going to just leave it. We're not going to even worry about it today. I might, you know, read about it and make a tutorial on it later on. But for the time being, it's just I want you to know that it comes with the native SIVA INS, which you see here. This is a fully operational unit, as well as the LTN92, again, fully operational unit, and works exactly as it should. All right, we are still there. This is set to IAS. We're going to set the speed here to 280 nautical miles, 280 knots. All right, let's go here to 80. All right, perfect. And this is exactly at 280. And we're currently flying on the EPR, so we don't really need this. We're going to turn the auto throttle in just a second. So right now we are flying in one of the available auto throttle modes for the aircraft. So here, if you go and look here, so we are, the EPR mode is climb, and the auto throttle mode is EPR. Now, once we reach our cruise altitude, this is going to switch off automatically, and we are going to turn on the auto throttle and change the auto throttle mode to speed, and that will hold the speed and we'll keep that mode until we arrive into Kuwait International. I do apologize, guys, that I'm not really looking at chat too much, but it's just really a very complex aircraft that requires constant monitoring. I have developed Tripoli International Airport version 2 for X-Plane. It's freeware and 90% modeled and painted in Substance Painter. Captain Baku, thank you very much for being here. I think this is the first time I see you here. Can I send you a PM on Discord? Absolutely. Go ahead, please. Matt Flight Sim, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Good luck to you on the giveaway. Yeah, the Felis 737 is definitely it receives the highest commendation of the channel, and definitely receives the Kuwait Pilot Seal of Approval. You will not regret the investment you make in this aircraft. If you like classics, you can't really go wrong with this aircraft. And by the way, if you are familiar with flying the FlyJSON 727, the flight engineer station on this aircraft should feel right at home. It operates in exactly the. So if you look here, for example, it can look very intimidating, by the way. But if you look here, this is your APU, right? So this is the APU right here and the ground unit. And this is the bus ties right here. This is your engine instruments right here. And then the galley power, passenger oxygen on this side here. You've got all your packs and APU bleeds right here. Hydraulic system right here. And your fuel panel is right here. So if you just understand, and if you kind of logically, group things in your head that way, then it becomes very easy to operate and understand the aircraft. All right, L select is turned on, so we're going to come down here. We're going to turn on the auto throttle, and we're going to go to speed mode, and we're going to go to cruise for the EPR mode. There we go. Excellent. And now we're going to maintain 280 knots, and everything is taken care of by the aircraft auto throttle system. You can see everything here is in yellow, or is it green? I'm not sure. If it's kind of green, yellowish, something like that, means they are active. So Alt select is active, and we can now turn this hold. We can put it on hold, and we just leave it there, and we can change it later on when we are ready to descend. 90 nautical miles for the first VOR station, and shouldn't be very long until we actually switch over the radio frequencies and the VHF radio for the next VOR. Alex, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Call me Sticks. Welcome aboard. I heard the winds in X-Plane are not working anymore. It might be the case, yes. I've heard many reports of the winds that are not working for some reason. And I believe that Laminar fetches the wind data for multiple sources and then kind of combines them all to create METAR and then injects it into the sim. I think some data is currently not being fetched. And I'm not sure if it's intermittent or it's just across the board, or all the time. I'm not sure, but that remains to be seen. All right, we are cruising at Mach 0.74, 280 knots, if you will, and cruising at 30,000 feet, our final cruise altitude. And here's a look at the outside, ladies and gentlemen. Clear skies. Look at this beautiful cockpit. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex has been a member with us for 6 months, and you are a senior captain. Time flies. Thanks for the awesome content. Well, thank you, sir, for your continued support. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Alex. By the way, I appreciate all your effort, both here on the channel and over at the Discord channel. Very kind of you, sir. Send you a message, and I hope you fly to it. Sure, Captain Baku, I will take a look for sure. Definitely, Jan, the 200 is a beautiful classic. It's a wonderful, wonderful aircraft. All right, we're looking good here. Now, as you can see, folks, here, if I go down here and zoom in, you can see now that we're picking up the distance to the second VOR station, the DME2, which is on the first officer's side, and this is DME1, so we're looking good there. And if you look now over at, if we look here, right, that's us, right here, and this is the Doha VOR. Let me make this a little bigger and zoom in. There we go. You can see we are straight through to the VOR station. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us the Super Gamer. Just became a commercial pilot here at the channel. Thank you, the Super Gamer, for your contribution and joining the exclusive membership here at the QA Pilot channel. I appreciate your support very much, sir. Thank you. That's very kind of you, sir. Appreciate it. Hakan, hello, my friend. Welcome. It's the grip files. The NOAA stopped the support, sir. Ah, that's why winds don't work now. Laminar is looking for a solution. Ah, I see. That's the problem. I see. I see. That makes a lot of sense. All right. 58 nautical miles. By the way, we have also the weather system here. Now you can see it's illuminated, and you can change the brightness. I'm not sure if it actually works, but let's see. I'm not sure if it actually works or not. Okay, the next one here. Alright, we're just going to take jet lighting performance. It's next. Alright, everything is looking good. We are in tip-top shape. Aircraft is doing very good. Let's go ahead and check the fuel over at the flight engineer station, just to make sure that, by the way, it looks like we are going to need a little bit of reserve. And once you start getting, once the tanks start emptying here, you just need to flip the switch. It says reserve. Once you flip these switches on both sides for engines number 1 and engines number 4, basically it's going to let the fuel in the reserve tanks flow into the main tanks. So far we don't need it, but if we do need it, then of course we will make sure the reserves go in there. There is a bit more fuel now in engines number 2 and engines number 3, but nothing that will cause any imbalance of the aircraft or the center of gravity. So far we are okay, and we don't really need to we don't really need to do anything here. So we'll just leave it. And by the way, this aircraft has beautiful night lighting. It's just really is sensational. Very, very nice. And if we just go by the second prototype crash, that's June 1966. Oh, that's good to know. I love the Felis. It's one of the best, if not the best, for X-Plane 12. I agree. Along with the Flying Jason -8, there are a few, by the way, a few very good aircraft for X-Plane 12. I've seen the new Caribou, the de Havilland Canada Caribou for Microsoft Flight Simulator by Asobo, and I was fiddling around with it. I purchased it earlier this afternoon, and wow, it is impressive. The visuals are impressive without a doubt, and a lot of the buttons actually do work. We do have some clouds here, so and they actually look pretty good if you ask me. Now I'm not sure if the weather data has been fixed or not, but we definitely do have weather. What is the best study level bird for X-Plane 12? Well, this is definitely study level. The 742, the Dash 8 by Flight JSIM is a study level aircraft, without a doubt. The Tolas is actually study level. If you look at the A340 by Tolas, I'm not sure about the texture work on that aircraft. The 3D modeling is not bad, but the texture work needs work. The sounds need work. This aircraft, by the way, is all inclusive. It's got beautiful sounds, beautiful texturing, study level, depth of system simulation, native INS and LRN, whatever you call that. The only thing, it's fitted with the default FMC, which is the X-Plane FMC, but this aircraft did not have an FMC. So if you really want to fly this aircraft the way it used to be flown, it's either you use radio navigation, or you use the INS, or the other device, LRN, I believe it's called. Yeah, look at the clouds there, guys. Looks pretty good. Definitely things are shaping up for X-Plane. Does the Felis have wear and tear like the FGS Classic? So I think it. So if we go here to the iPad, and if we go here, let's see. From the load calculator. No, not the load calculator. Ground. We can't do ground now. I think there is some maintenance and some fuel and things like that. I don't think that it has a very extensive failure model built into it. But as it is, I mean, you can set the failures definitely from here. Show you the INS's EPRL. You can show these here. I don't think there is you can do it like the default failures available in X-Plane. You can go and fail them if you want, but I don't think they are, and it doesn't have the circuit breakers either, but nonetheless, just the way it is just really a very in-depth aircraft and quite fun to learn and to fly in the sim. No magenta line to tell you where you are in this plane. No, you have to rely on the DME equipment aboard the aircraft. So we are now 12 nautical miles from the first VOR station, and we're very soon going to flip this to the next frequency, which is 112.3. Yeah, it's navigation used to be very difficult. It was a difficult affair back in the day. It wasn't easy, but flying an aircraft like this gives you a lot of appreciation of what pilots used to go through, and how difficult it was really to navigate. I mean, nowadays it's pretty simple. You just go in to the FMC, put the departure, arrival, select your runways and LNAV, VNAV, and you're good to go. We are in the era of automation, but this aircraft is just really one of a kind. Stefan, how are you doing, my friend? For the time, this was the easy option. Before radio and INS navigation, it was sextants, star charts, clocks, and dead reckoning. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Morgus One, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here with us. Wycliffe Barrett, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Wycliffe, really, the note I saw from Orbex is that they do support X-Plane 12, but they do not support the X-Plane 11 scenery in X-Plane 12. So, although it does work, it's kind of like do it at your own risk. That's what I've read on their forums. We need to switch the DME now to 112.3, 112.3. Excellent. All right, and we're going to set the course to the next station. All right, here we go. And by the way, guys, just what I'm looking at the alignment of this line. So I'm going to increase the course until the line comes exactly in the center, like so. Excellent. And now we have intercepted the next VOR station, and we are about 117 nautical miles from the next VOR station. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take a look here at the flight log, and we're going to take the next VOR station. So this is Dammam where we're heading, and the next one is Ras Al Mashab, which is 116.4. So we're going to come here and put 116.4. Right, 116.4. And a little later on, we'll be able to see the frequency showing here all right, so now we're heading from Doha to Dammam, and if we look at our Navigraph charts, right, there we go. You see now we are heading over from Doha to the next VOR station here in Dammam, Saudi Arabia. And you can see also the frequency 112.3, which is what we have keyed in right now over here. And the aircraft is now pretty much going to do its thing. Perfect. All right, we're looking good, and continue our cruise here at 30,000 feet. I think the clouds look very nice, guys. Look at that. Yeah, I think they look improved. They look improved without a doubt. Good luck to all of you guys on the giveaway. I wish you guys all the best. And as a quick reminder, guys, next month, during the month of March, all the flights, all the streams will be flown for the Fly Lilo project. If you don't know about Flight Lilo, please do visit his website and learn a little more. Also, let's see here. 737 Sim Pilot, hello, my friend. I'm glad that you're here, and all the best to you. Master Tim 1243, welcome, my friend. Gaber Kovacs, welcome. Will you do the giveaway after landing? If so, that's estimated time in Zulu. Tomorrow work, little time left to stay up. Oh, I see. Well, we are going to be doing the giveaway after we land. That is correct. And it's going to take another, let's see here. If we go to Volanta, is it running, Volanta? It is running. Yeah. We are here. So time until descent about 15 minutes. 15 minutes before top of descent. So that's what it says here. which kind of makes sense. Again, as you can see just now, the distance to the second station, which is Ras Al Mishab, here, which is this one here, 116.4, has now appeared in DME2, and we have the distance to it. So we have DME1 and DME2 both active, and we have the, we can set actually this one here, if we go and select the course, because the course of this station is not set. So if we go and change the course here, right, here we go. Right, so now exactly we know which course we're going to fly of course, this has no bearing on what the aircraft is doing right now because the second autopilot is not engaged. So it will only respect whatever we do on this side, but this side is very useful for situational awareness. So we'll leave it like that, and we'll continue to cruise at 30,000 feet and Mach 0.74. I think SimBrief will create a plan for the 747 and convert it in for INIS use. That might be Wycliffe, yeah. It would be cool to see you do this route, something modern too. With Abu Dhabi A320neo, for example, they recently launched AUH-KWI. Oh, really? Is your game on maximum graphics? It is. In fact, just to be completely honest, it is maximum graphics with the exception of anti-aliasing. Here, let me show you very quickly. So if you go to the graphics, world object density I've reduced, but actually has no bearing. I can push it forward. I think I was testing something. But normally I fly with everything maxed out. With the exception of anti-aliasing. It's the only thing that really brings the sim to its knees. Well, it doesn't bring it to its knees, but in some locations, you know, I get very low FPS, like goes down to the 30s, and that's not very good. X-Lane needs something like 36 frames for a smooth experience. Anything below 36, and then it starts becoming jittery. All right, we are looking good. About 70 nautical miles from the Dammam VOR station. Then it's going to be Ras Al Mishab, and during our route about 120 nautical miles from the Kuwait VOR, we will begin our descent to 2,000 feet, which is the initial approach platform for runway 15 left over at Kuwait. We're going to track the Kuwait VOR or Kuwa VOR, and so for the arrival, once we actually arrive into the Kuwait VOR, the Kuwait VOR is actually located in the airport. So once we are at the station, we're going to turn to a heading of 335 degrees, and we're going to move away from the airport at approximately 13.2 DME from the ILS. We're going to begin our turn towards, we're going to pass by the city, by the way, just like we did yesterday, at about 13.2 DME from the ILS. We are going to make our turn towards the airport again to intercept the localizer for runway 15 left and land at Kuwait International. It's a bit of an involved approach today because this aircraft again does not have LNAV, VNAV, does not have an approach, but it does have an ILS, which is good. So it will, but you'll have to fly to the exact coordinates in order to intercept the localizer for the ILS. So it's not like it will just kind of go there. You have to manually go to that specific fix in order to pick up the frequency for the ILS. We'll of course witness all of that once we are at Kuwait, and yeah. Right, I'm going to leave you guys with a short break. I'm going to take a short break. I'll leave you with this wing view, and I will be right back. And I am back, folks. I hope I didn't leave you too long. Right, 32 nautical miles from the. It actually, once you're at cruise level, you get through those VORs very quickly. And again, there is no indication of top of descent or anything like that, so you have to calculate the top of descent for the for your flight. So we are at 30,000. We need to be at 2,000 for the ILS at Kuwait. So when I calculate that, that's 30 minus 2,000, or 30 minus 2, that's about 28. So you multiply 28 times 3 plus 10 nautical miles for contingency, and it gives you the nautical miles out where you need to begin your descent. Of course, assuming a 3-degree glide slope on the descent to be able to reach the desired altitude at your destination. So we will begin at about 116 nautical miles from the Kuwait VOR. Thank you very much, Mr. Jansen. Thank you for your nice gesture there. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. I have been seeing a lot of videos lately of content creators, you know, just putting out news. And there are a few that does it well. And the rest is just, I'm not sure, you know, if they just want to, you know, gain. I mean, I don't want to say anything to bash anyone. That's not what I do or what I like doing, but I just don't really see a lot of value in a lot of these videos. And they use, you know, these really fancy titles, clickbait titles is what I call them. Yeah. Oh well. I'm. By the way, guys, I'm not going to do any of these videos, if you will. But I do like the ones created by Oz Flight Simmer, Shane. I do really like his news digest. It's very, very good. I really like it a lot. He does it in a very classy way, so I do like it. All right, 9 nautical miles until the next. You can see 120 now from DME2. And if you look here, let me just show you actually here. Now you'll see this line here starts moving as we get closer, about 5 nautical miles DME. You'll see this line starting to move as we get closer to the VOR station, and then it would flip saying that we're flying away from the station. So you'll see this DME1 distance increasing, but we're not going to wait this time. We're going to go ahead and switch the frequency to 116.4. So 116.4 is set, and now you can see the needle has moved, and we need to set the course again to our next VOR station. There we go. You see the nav again activated. It means that the aircraft radio has picked up the frequency now and flying directly to the VOR. Small adjustments to our course here to get it exactly in the middle, and there we have it. And now the aircraft is flying to the VOR, and looking over at our Navigraph charts, you'll see how the aircraft is now turning towards the next VOR station, which is Ras Al Mashab right here. All right, so we're going to bring up SimBrief once more, and we're going to go to the flight log. All right, and from the flight log, we're going to take the Kuwait VOR, which is 114.15. All right, so 114.15. All right, is now set, and we can see the distance to the Kuwait VOR, which is 186. So once we are about 116 DME2, we will begin our descent towards Kuwait International. We're going to reset the MCP altitude and begin reduce our speed and begin our descent. So we are actually not too far from the top of descent now. I love flying VOR to VOR. I love using radio navigation and flying, you know, old style. It's more fulfilling, to be very honest with you guys. It's a lot more fun to fly that way, and it really does give you a lot of appreciation of what other, you know, what pilots had to go through back in the day. Just really phenomenal aircraft, and is so well modeled and very carefully textured to give it this really rusty look. You can see the scratches here and right here. I mean, yeah, it could use some work here, but, you know, it doesn't bother me that much, really, because anything more than that is probably going to make this aircraft, you know, very resource hungry, and I think it's right exactly where it should be right now. By the way, I haven't been able to do a replay with this aircraft because every time I do, it crashes the sim. We are going to attempt it, of course, but if it doesn't work, then please forgive me. Can someone tell me if it's worth buying the Rotate MD-11? In my view, it is worth it, definitely. It's a study level aircraft, again, for X-Plane 12. It does have some issues, but those are probably being worked out. And one of the things I do not like about the MD-11 is the fact that the cockpit is so dark, it's so difficult to see, even during daylight. So yeah. So we can turn on some panel lights here. Yeah. There we go. And we come down here and center forward panel, control stand panels. Maybe that'll help. If things are dark in the cockpit, you'll be able to see a little better. Overhead panel. Turn those on. There. I think you can see the beautiful lighting here. It looks absolutely sensational during nighttime. It looks very, very nice during nighttime. There we go. Some panel lights here. Yeah. Lovely aircraft. This plane is so nice. Jacob, I couldn't agree more with you, my friend. It is absolutely gorgeous. Between the Felis and the Q400, which one is the most worth it? Ooh, that's a tough one. Look, I will tell you what I would... here's the thing. The Dash 8 is an aircraft very, very dear to my heart, but I like the Boeing 747 a lot. But if I had a limited budget and I could only buy only one of them, personally, I would go for the Dash 8, personally. And by the way, nothing wrong with the Felis at all. It's just a matter of personal preference, because I happen to like the Dash 8 a lot. I like the prop engines, so I like turbo props, and it's kind of old school. And when you fly VOR to VOR in the Dash 8, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because it is so much fun flying that aircraft. It's quite an aircraft. Again, requires a learning curve. I love the sounds on that aircraft, and the fidelity of the textures and the 3D modeling is second to none. They've done a really good job with that aircraft. Interactive cabin, things like that. You know, it's got some really nice features, but flying the Dash 8 is just really a joy. So personally, yeah, I would, if I was to make a choice between either or, I'd probably go for the Dash 8. No worries at all. You're most welcome. Thank you. Being continue streaming, XP Captain. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I will always support X-Plane, and the draw will happen right after we land. I will always support Laminar, directly or indirectly. I love X-Plane. There was an interesting video today made by a content creator who happens to be a real-world Boeing 737 pilot and part of the PMDG tech team. I believe NG Driver is the name of the channel, and he was saying something that I've actually shared with you guys on the channel a few weeks ago regarding, you know, what is how does the landing in real life compare to landing in a sim? And one of the things he says is exactly what a real-world pilot has told me, is that what is missing in the sim is all the forces that you feel when you are operating the aircraft. And what NG Driver was saying in his video is that he gets asked if those who are doing flight simulation are very proficient in landing, will they be able to land a 737 in real life? And his response was, no, you cannot. you will be able to command the aircraft to do an auto land, but you will not be able to land it because in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the landing physics are not accurate at all. Even with the PMDG and with all the changes they have done to the physics in order to manipulate the aircraft to a level where it matches the real thing, they are unable to do it, not because of their lack of skill, but because of the Microsoft Flight Simulator platform itself. And this is coming, please go watch his video. This is his own words. And I actually replied to, I put a comment there, and I said, would you be able to do a test, the same test, landing test, with the Zibo 737 in X-Plane 12 and give us your thoughts? Now that would be really interesting. Yeah, that sim definitely cannot teach you how to fly. There's a lot missing there, and I'm not sure. Osama Mohammed, hello my friend, welcome aboard. I'm not sure how does X-Plane fare up to that test by the NG pilot. It would be very interesting if he could actually do this test. Because I tell you that when you land, even when you watch a replay of a plane landing in X-Plane versus a plane landing in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the X-Plane version looks far more realistic in my view. I mean, it does look like, you know, the plane spotting you normally watch. I mean, forget about the scenery, guys. Forget about, no one's talking about the scenery. Scenery is, Microsoft is number one. No question there. Undoubtedly, they are number one. But when you look at all the replays of planes landing in X-Plane, nothing comes close to that in terms of the realism. It looks so real. The physics of the aircraft, the movement of the aircraft, and the crosswind landings are just absolutely crazy. They just look so realistic. When I started my PPL, my instructor had to beat bad habits I picked up from Flight Sim out of my system. Yeah, Stefan, I've had the same experience with when I chartered a Piper 28 back in Elstree in the United Kingdom. The minute I was in the Piper sitting there, I started looking at all the instruments, and the instructor was kind of looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm looking at all the instruments." No. He said, "When you're flying VFR, you have to constantly look out the window. You can, you know, glance at your instrument, make sure everything's okay, and then you you need to keep looking out the window and look for any obstacles, for any aircraft, things like that." So it does take, you know, once you do a lot of flight simming, and then you go for the real thing, there are a lot of habits that you're going to have to get over. All right, I think, guys, we're going to begin our descent now towards Kuwait. So I'm going to reset the MCP altitude to 2,000 feet. We kind of got carried away a little bit here. All right, so 2,000 feet is set. Let me go ahead and reduce our speed a little bit here to 260 knots. And let's go ahead and begin the descent. We are going to go to vertical speed. So VS and Alt select. And then we're going to start reducing. So we're going to go to about 1,500 feet per minute initially. We'll monitor our, as you can see here, 1.5. By the way, if you go to the vertical speed, you can see the speeds here. So this is how I figure out. This is minus 1,000, and this is minus 1,500 and 2,000, and so on and so forth. So now we are heading. We've begun the descent towards Kuwait. We're going to maintain 260 knots until we are at about 13,000 feet. We'll switch then to about 240, and if we look here at the performance data for our landing, we can see clean 247, flaps 1 at 227, flaps 5 at 207, 10, and VREF is 147. We're kind of a little bit heavy today, so VREF is 147. We're going to click here to set our speed bugs, And now we'll see all the speed bugs have already been set automatically for us. Excellent. And we are now descending towards Kuwait. And we're going to be switching the frequency very soon from the Ras Al Mashab to the Kuwait VOR or the Kuwa VOR station. Are the Aegis enjoyable in your opinion? Absolutely. All right. We're descending 260 knots. That's Mach 0.6. And we'll maintain that speed for now. By the way, it's been 47 minutes since we started the clock. That's a lot of time. Right, here's a look at the outside. Absolutely gorgeous. Those engines, though. Lovely aircraft. All right, we are looking good. Continue our descent. And we can grab the weather information at Kuwait International. As you can see, this is us right here. And this is Ras Al Mashab. 78 nautical miles towards Kuwait International. And if we look at the weather information over... see, this is not Kuwait. This is giving us the closest, I think, to Kuwait International. Again, I think it has to do with the change of the ICO code. As you can see, Oscar Kilo Kilo Kilo. So yeah, it's not giving us the weather information yet. But if we look here, 261, 110, 11 knots. I don't think that is accurate for Kuwait. So I'm not sure what to do. But we'll use whatever information we have here, 1018. Yeah, that's fine. We don't have the weather information for Kuwait. So we're going to have to wing it. I'll use 1015, which is the same as Abu Dhabi. Bye, Mike Alpha. Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Smooth. I remember once I was flying a 747 heavy turbulence. I watched the wing flex around, and the onboard engines were bouncing around like nobody's business. Yeah, I've seen that before. Antic Kuwait, I have a question. Can you do a tutorial for free X-Craft? Sure, I've done a tutorial, by the way, of X-Crafts in the past. If you look through my channel, you should be able to find them. But maybe I'll do an update, yeah. That's true, Rand. I do not have X-Plane 11. But I do have those videos. If you look through the channel, I'm sure you'll find them. All right, so we are looking good here. We continue our descent. 3 nautical miles. Let's go ahead and switch the frequency to the Kuwait VOR 114.15, 114.15. All right, and that is now, as you can see, the VOR station. We can again adjust the course to fly direct to the VOR station. There we go. Excellent. 330 degrees. Excellent. And now we're flying to the VOR station. All right. So let me just very quickly show you again for situational awareness. Again, I only rely normally when I'm flying, I rely on my equipment, on the DME and the DME equipment to tell me where I am and where I'm heading. But you can see now that we're on a direct path to the Kuwait VOR right here. All right. There is, by the way, a Wafra VOR here, but for some reason it was not being picked up. So I left it, and we're just going to fly direct to the Kuwait VOR. This one here makes it a little easier in terms of the navigation because it's a direct to the VOR station here, and it makes it easier to make the turn from the city because this is let me show you here. This is what we're going to do. If I come down here, all right. So this is Kuwait International, right? This is runway 15 left right here. Zoom in more. All right. So this is runway 15 left that we're going to land at. And what we need, and this is the VOR station right here. You see this here? This is the Kuwait VOR. So once we are near the VOR station, we need to go on this heading this way, make the turn on Joan Al Kuwait, make the turn here, and then come back to intercept. Sorry, this is 25 left. 25 left is this side. So we're gonna, once we are at the VOR, we're gonna make the turn this way, come back, and intercept the localizer for runway 15 left here at Kuwait. All right. So now, as you can see, we continue the descent. We are 63 nautical miles from Kuwait International. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to get the frequency for the ILS. So we're going to come here and we are going to go to the runways. This is runway 15 left. Let's see if we get the ILS here. We don't get the ILS here. All right, procedures, arrivals, approaches. And we can now go. All right, so this is ILS Z, Zulu, runway 15 left. And if we click here, it will bring it up for us. Right, there we go. And the approach, if we look here, the localizer for IKIC is 110.10 with the final approach course of 152 degrees. So 110.10. So we're going to come here and put 110 decimal 10. All right, and now we have the DME to the runway, which is 55.4 nautical miles, and we're going to set the approach on the first officer's side to 152 degrees. All right, so 152 set. Now the reason I've done this is that you will be able to see here that the runway is going to be in the opposite direction that we're flying. Okay, so it points backwards. And you will see that this will start moving. It will start turning again once we pass the airport. All right, we are doing good. Let's see, check on our descent. We are 50, 16 to 2, 14, 28, 38, 60 something. All right, we need to increase our rate of descent just a little bit. So I'm going to go to 2,000 feet per minute. And I am going to start reducing our speed to 250 knots. There we go. And now we can go to the checklists, and we're going to begin with the descent checklist. Before we begin, we're going to set the auto brake to medium, and we are also going to come to the engineer station, and we're going to go to the fuel heat switches, and we're going to turn those off. Fuel heat is off. Okay, and now we can go to the passenger fasten seatbelt signs and turn those on, and EPR mode has to go to TOD. Alright, let's leave it there. Auto throttle disconnected. Alright, we'll disconnect it again to maintain our speed. Alright, perfect. Let's go ahead and start.
Approach checklist, please.
Seatbelts and shoulder harness.
Check.
Seatbelts and nose coping signs.
On.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Check.
Outer
By
brake.
the way, did we ever turn off?
Low.
Yeah, we did.
Radio INS switches.
Radio.
Flight director computer selectors.
Check.
Brake pressure.
Check.
Spoilers.
Armed.
Altimeters.
013, set and cross-check.
Landing data, EPR, and airspeed bus.
Set and cross-check.
Seatbelts and shoulder harness. Check. Fuel panel. Check. Fuel heat. Off. EPR computer. Go around. Cabin altitude. Check. Circuit breakers. Check. Approach checklist completed.
All right, perfect. So the approach checklist is complete, and the next one is the landing checklist. And we are now just about 38 nautical miles from Kuwait International. Libyan Pilot 01, hello my friend, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. Omar Wali, I'm learning a lot from this flight. Well, thank you very much for that. I'm very pleased that you are learning something during this flight. That's very comforting to know. All right, we're approaching 10,000 feet, folks. So we are going to turn on our landing lights, runway turn-off lights, and the wing lights. And we need to be below 250 knots. So we are decreasing our speed right now. We still have, by the way, that's ahead of us, that's Kuwait City right there. So we're getting pretty close to our destination now.
10,000.
10,000 feet. We're almost at 250 knots. And if we look back here at the performance calculator, 247 is clean, so we can go all the way to 247 with the clean configuration, so no need for flaps. So let's go ahead and do 247, and we continue the descent. What a lovely looking aircraft, the 747. Right, looking good. Now the tricky part is going to be, by the way, now we're flying to the VOR. So if we look here, let me just go to flight. All right, so you can see here that we're flying towards the VOR station. And once we are at the station, right here, so this is the Kuwait VOR. So once we are about 5 nautical miles from the station, we're going to begin the turn this way. So if you look here, now you can see this is pointing backwards. And so we're going to turn to a heading of, let's see, what is our current heading? 330. So we will more than likely take a heading of 030 degrees and move away from the buildings ahead. And we don't want to cause a lot of noise, so for noise abatement, you can see the runway is ahead of us now. I can see it here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but this is the Kuwait International right there. So we're not too far now. We're still reducing our speed. We're going to rely on the equipment on both sides because we are going to need both frequencies to be able, for situational awareness, to know where we are relative to the airport. By the way, we can extend flaps 1 and 227. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set this to 227. There we go. 227 degrees is 227 knots is set. And we're going to continue about 90 nautical miles from the airport, which is right there. And once we are just a bit closer, we will begin the turn away from the airport so that we can intercept the localizer. You can see here again, this is showing this is 152 degrees, and this is where the relative to the airport, to the runway, that's where the runway is relative to our position. So it's on the opposite direction, because the runway 25 left is on the other side. So we have to go that way and come back. Right, 16 nautical miles.
Localizer alive.
It says localizer alive. And by the way, in order to activate the localizer on this part, we need to click this up. I'll show you how to do that in just a second, but we have the airport right ahead of us now. So what we need to do is we need to start our turn momentarily and head over to that side there. So we're going to come here now, and we are going to change our heading. Let's see here. Alright, so we're going to go to a heading of 360 degrees. We're going to switch to heading mode. Heading select is done. Alright. That's the runway right there.
1,000 to level off.
Right, 1,000 to level off. We're going to leave the airport to our left to make the turn and circle around and come to land. Alright, here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put this frequency right here, so 110.10. 110.10. And now if we go in, we're going to set the course to 152, which is the approach course. All right, 152 is set, and as you can see, this is the this is how things look like here. All right, and it's going to give us an indication later on. It will help us. That's the VOR station right there, and that's the airport. So we're going to continue now. Now the good thing is what we need to watch for is the DME here. Now this is Kuwait City, all right. And the DME is 5.4. If we put the station, if we put what do you call it? The Kuwait VOR station was it 114? Let's see, flight log. The 114 decimal 15. Right. So 114 decimal 15. All right. So now we can see that DME2 is 6.1 and DME1 is 4.3. All right. What we need is for this to actually, we're going to change our heading slightly to a 355 degrees. All right. Now DME1, as we see, is actually the distance to the runway, but we have to fly in the opposite direction. That's the orientation of the runway for the localizer. So right now we are doing well at 227 degrees, and we can go to flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
Right, flaps 1 is set. We are at 2,000 feet, and we're going to continue now until we are approximately 13. And by the way, to activate the localizer, we just click this once, and now the localizer is active here. Once we intercept, we should be able to see it on this side. All right, so now we don't need, we're going to set this to 110 decimal 10. All right, and now we have the distance on both DME1 and DME2 to the runway 15 left, which we need to gain a little bit of distance from the airport before we begin the turn towards the runway. You can see now, we can see the glide slope, and we can see the localizer for the runway, and we are going to reduce our speed to 207 knots. 207 knots. All right. Excellent. 207 knots is set. Speed check, flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
Excellent. What happens if a person who doesn't have X-plane? I don't know. All right. Now you can see the glide slope needle is moving upwards and downwards again, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about that now. We are going to wait for approximately 13 DME before we begin our turn towards back towards Kuwait International. Okay, so we're just going to continue for now. That's the city right there. So we'll give it a few more nautical miles, about 3 more nautical miles, and then we'll begin the turn back towards Kuwait International. It will basically give us time to properly set the... and by the way, we're going to have to go to VOR lock again. Right, so here's where we are. We are at 11. And just about 12 nautical miles will begin the turn again. And so we are now, by the way, 12 miles away from the airport, from the runway. All right, so that's 12 DME, 12.1. That's good. So we're going to turn now towards the airport. All right, there we go. Perfect. That way we can see exactly what's going on here. All right. Now we're going to go to VOR lock again. Continue our turn towards the airport. All right. And we're going to continue on this heading for just a little while. Take a heading of 213 degrees. Right, ILS. Excellent. All right. So all we need to do now is make the turn towards the airport, the final turn towards the airport. We're going to let the aircraft do its thing for the time being. We can see we're still okay. We're doing good. And the airport is somewhere right over there. That's Kuwait City. Of course, not very well modeled in X-Plane 12. Approach course is set. All right, and we're going to reduce our speed now to flaps 10, so 187. Right, speed check. Flaps 10.
Flaps 20.
Actually, it went to flaps 20, and we have now intercepted the ILS. Flaps 20, that's 167. 167. There we go. And ladies and gentlemen, we have runway 15 left in sight. And as you can see, we did not really have to rely on any maps or anything like that. We just really have to look at the instrument, and once you understand what the instruments are telling you, then you can pretty much operate the aircraft properly and get it aligned with the ILS. You just have to understand the difference between heading, course, and I have a full tutorial on that. All right, landing gear is going down. And we're going to go to flaps 25, 157 for the speed. Flaps 25.
Flaps 25.
Yeah, it's waiting for the...
Gears down, green light.
All right. Engine oil pressure. What is wrong with the pressure here? Ah. We don't have any fuel. Oh. Our engines have died. So we're going to land with only 2 engines now. Oh. Catastrophe. I forgot to change the... but it's still a Boeing 747 and it's still got 4 engines. So it takes a while for the fuel to be transferred. And so, yeah. But that's okay. That's all right. Let's go ahead and go to the final speed. Flaps 30, 152, 152, and flaps 30.
Flaps 30. 1,000.
1,000 feet. All right. We are definitely going down. A little too fast, but that's okay because we don't have a couple of our engines. So let's go ahead and disconnect the autopilot and my aircraft. We're going to disconnect the auto throttle as well. Let's bring the throttle back. And 147 is the speed that we're looking at here.
500.
500 feet. Not so much in terms of weather. Things are okay. But we've lost 2 engines. That was completely pilot-induced. Our flight engineer did not check the fuel, and he got us into this situation.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
50,
Glide slope.
40,
Glide slope.
30, 20, 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kuwait International
Check
Airport.
reverse. Out, off, reverse.
All right, reversers are off, and
Auto brake
we
off.
are...
60 knots.
We can make the turn here. I hope it doesn't crash. This is exactly when it crashed the other day. So hopefully it won't. Just kind of froze the sim. Now there are 2 things we can do, guys. We can we can go to the gate, park the aircraft, then attempt the replay, or we can do the replay now. And you know, we might actually lose the sim. So I am of the opinion that we go and park the aircraft first, so we can retract the flaps. All right.
Flaps up.
Flaps are up. Let's give it some power. And oh, there we go. The sim is crashing, guys, unfortunately. Yeah, it's frozen completely now. This is exactly where it happened last time as well. Again, this is the price you pay for flying a beta. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do a replay of the landing. We can, however, take a look at Volanta for the landing rates at Kuwait. So it's completely all right. So minus 177 FPM at about 140 knots. We were coming definitely a little too slow because we lost 2 of our engines. The fuel got depleted completely, and I did not remember to turn on the reserve tanks in time to supply them. But nonetheless, the 747 can still do with 2 engines. Our landing rate was okay, wasn't bad. Unfortunately, the sim has crashed, folks. Yeah, you see this. There is no recovery now from. I don't get anything. So that's a bummer. That's a real bummer. Sounds like you need to fire your flight engineer. Absolutely, he's fired. He's so fired. Rest in peace, X-Plane 12. Awesome sim otherwise. Yeah, I agree. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to let this do its thing, and I'm sure at some point it will just give up and crash. But we're going to go for the giveaway, and let me tell you how many folks have... We'll take a look at the entries first, how many entries, and then we will draw the winners for our... giveaway today. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to close the entries. The entries are closed because 2 hours have elapsed. All right, so let's take a look here. We have, ladies and gentlemen, 189 total entries into the giveaway, and the first winner in today's live stream for the Felis 7.4 Classic is 3, 2, 1, and the first winner is Rich Vranich. Rich Vranich, if you are with us, please identify yourself. Rich Vranich is the first winner today in our live stream, and he's won a copy of the 7.4-2 Classic. If you are there, please do identify yourself. Rich. Come on, Rich. Are you there? Looks like Rich is not here. Yeah, he's not here. Oh, you are here. Oh, excellent, Rich. All right, Rich. So all you need to do, Rich, I've verified your profile just now on YouTube. Just all you need to do is, and this goes for everyone, you need to go to your YouTube page while you're logged in, and take a screenshot of your profile, YouTube profile page while you're logged in, and send that screenshot to info@q8pilot.com. Guys, it is very important that you send a capture of your profile, because I verified it right now, and I just need to make sure that you are the person sending me the email so that I can provide you with your gift. Rich, congratulations. Now let's go for the second winner, folks. In 3, 2, 1, and the second winner is Steve G 1927. Long-time follower of the channel, Steve G 1927. Are you here, Steve? I hope you are. Steve 1927, are you here, sir? I would hate for Steve to lose on this giveaway. He's been a supporter of the channel for a very long time. So Steve 1927, but the rules are rules. Come on, Steve. No, can't find him on chat. All right, Stan. No worries then. Sorry, Steve. We're going to have to forfeit the entry for Steve, and we have to go for someone else. All right, so Steve has been removed, and we are now going to go for the second winner again in 3, 2, 1, and the winner is Flight Simmer GR. Flight Simmer GR, are you with us? Flight Simmer GR. Flight Simmer GR. Are you still here? Flight Simmer GR. Flight Simmer GR. Are you here, sir? Looks like the second winner is... oh, he's here! Flight Simmer GR. Congratulations on winning a copy of the Felis 742 Classic. Yay! Congrats, my friend. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, we're going to go for winner number 3. And the winner number 3 in 3, 2, 1. And pick a winner. And the winner is Will. Just Will. Will, are you with us, Will? Is Will with us? That's W-I-L-L. Will. Is Will with us? So we have Rich Vranich, we have Flight Sim Gear, and we have Will. Will, are you here? It looks like Will is not with us. Will is not here. All right. So I'm sorry, Will. We're going to have to forfeit. And we're going to have to select the third winner. All right. So Will is gone. And let's go to the winner number 3. Pick a winner. And the winner is Mr. Cadet Sky. Mr. Cadet Sky. Are you here? Mr. Cadet Sky. If you are here, please identify yourself in chat. Mr. Cadet Sky. Mr. Cadet Sky, are you here? Yay! Mr. Cadet Sky is indeed with us here. Congratulations. All right, so folks, we have with us today Rich Vranich, Flight Simmer GR, and Mr. Cadet Sky are the 3 winners of the Felis Boeing 747-200 Classic. And I want to thank you all for being here this evening. And I'm sorry about, looks like X-Plane is still trying to figure out what it wants to do. It still hasn't crashed completely, but it's still figuring out what it wants to do. But it's been a fun stream without a doubt. For all the winners of the giveaway, all you need to do, guys, is take a screenshot. I have already verified your YouTube profiles. So all I need you to do is take a screenshot of your YouTube profile page while you're logged into your account and send that screenshot to info@kuwaitpilot.com. I will be then providing you with a gift certificate equal to the amount of the Felis 742 from the X-Plane.org store, where you can go and purchase the aircraft, or if you wish to purchase anything else, that is of course completely up to you. But the gift certificate will be sufficient for you to purchase the Felis 74 Classic, and I will add just a little more just for extra fun. All right, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. I want to thank you very much for joining me this evening to celebrate the liberation anniversary of Kuwait. And yesterday, I want to thank all of you guys who were here yesterday as well and still joined today. But equally thank everyone who was here today and yesterday and who's ever going to become a future subscriber. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the membership. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for everything that you've done for the channel. And by the way, guys, the channel has reached 15 million views on February the 20th. This is quite a milestone, and I could not have done it without your support. Thank you very much, guys, for being here this evening. The time has come for me to call it a day. So until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, and bye-bye for now.